I'm here at Juno Bait. I'm gonna get some lures and we're gonna go and trek, go on a little adventure, try to find some bass, maybe some snook. I really wanna try some topwater though, so I'm gonna take you guys with me. We're gonna look at some gear. So while we're here, just in case the weather does let up, I'm gonna load up on some jigs. I take these offshore, drop them down. I do the fast retrieval. A lot of these ones are used for slow pitch, which I have yet to try and I really want to, but I'm gonna use them as fast pitch. This is perfect right here. And a big thing in Jupiter, I know we talked about a little bit, is sharks. A lot of our fish have teeth too, so wahoo, kingfish, they're just gonna cut off some of these. What I love about Juno Bait is that they started stocking these assist hooks with wire. So normally with the jigs, you'll see just that like rope kind of assist hook. It doesn't work well when you're up against kingfish. It'll bite right through and it's super frustrating. Always go wire in Jupiter. So I'm going to start off with a swim bait. Just try to get my first fish. And knowing me, if a swim bait works, I'm going to keep throwing it. And then I'm eventually going to switch to topwater because I love that topwater hit. So first cast, let me check my drag. So there's a log in the middle here. And I want to have a tighter drag just in case I hook up on something decent and it starts to take me over towards that log. I want to be able to control its head and make sure it doesn't take me into that log. So gar are extremely hard to hook. They have a really hard mouth, skinny, narrow mouth. So we'll see if we can get bass, gar, snook back here. We're just going to try our luck and see if this swim bait works for us. Right there, right at the edge. Oh my gosh, I was almost pulling my lure out of the water and this guy just struck last second. Got a nice little bass here. There we go. First bass on that swim bait. Right at the end. That was a surprise hit. Gave me a little shower there. All right, fish on. Good fish. Oh. A goby sleeper. We think that's what it's called. And these fish are not invasive to Florida. They're actually really rare to find, but this spot back here holds a lot of them. You can see they have a row of, I have not tested them. They look like teeth to me. People say they're like sandpaper. I don't know, they look kind of sharp. So I normally use that pair of pliers to get the treble hook out. The mouth is pretty narrow. When I first started catching them, people were like, oh, they're invasive. You know, you should leave them out on the bank. And it turns out they're not invasive and they're just super rare. And this habitat back in here is perfect for them. There we go. It's amazing. Bait that size just getting hailed by this guy. But yeah, look at that dorsal, the spots on it. It's pretty cool. Kind of reminds you of a snakehead, just the shape of the body, but this is not a snakehead. We're gonna put him back in the water. They're not like bass. Oh no! Fish on. I got this one. Oh! Oh no. I don't even know what it was. I think it was a bass. He got lucky. I don't count that as a catch. I spend a lot of time on Google Maps, especially finding those inshore spots and just trying different spots. And a lot of them are not successful. And then you find a good one like this and it's like protected at all costs. But back here you do lose a lot of lures. I will say that. especially when I first started fishing it. I wasn't used to making these pinpoint casts. I use a spinner, I don't have a bait caster. I went through a lot of tackle at first, and now I know which trees I can get them out of and which ones are a complete loss. And my rule is, if I can see it, I'm definitely gonna try to get it. Unless there's a gator sitting next to a log underwater or something. Ugh, come on. This is probably gonna ruin this spot right now. Is it a gar? Hold on, let's see if I can get this guy up. I got a gar, yes. Look at that. That bottom jaw, it just got him. That's crazy. My goodness. Yeah, these guys are super hard. Normally they'll come up, they'll try to hit it, and well, you end up foul hooking them, which makes them super hard to come in. But this is actually a perfect hook set on a gar, if you could ever have one. This is a little juvenile, but they can get pretty big. And those are the ones that are making those swirls in the water over there. They'll just sit at the top. I'm not really sure what they're doing. They're having a party or something, but they always intimidate you or taunt you and make you feel like you can't catch fish when really they're just hard to catch. We're gonna get him back in the water, get him back with his friends. Bass. Again, it was like that last second bite. My goodness. When I'm offshore fishing, this is pretty much the size of one of the larger baits that I use. I use a goggle eye. And yeah, I would just be trolling something this size, trying to catch those big kings or sailfish. But we're gonna get him back in the water. It's not our bait today. We are almost at my favorite fishing spot. It is a top secret fishing spot for a good reason. I'll hopefully show you shortly, but it is through the beautiful Florida wilderness. We are just trekking through right now. We're almost there. I'm gonna try my swim bait first, and then I'm gonna switch to some top water. Let's try to catch some fish. What are you? Another one of those goby sleepers. Go tell your snook buddies, come after my bait. No. Shoot. Oh no. Oh. I'll give it to that tree. It won this time. Man. Yeah, there's no way I can get in that one. Shoot, that was my only swim bait I had too. Well, we're gonna switch to top water now. And sometimes I need transitions like this because I will keep throwing that swim bait because it works. So, top water. Yes. I will switch out. I'm gonna switch to my top water. So I'm just gonna do a simple uni to uni. That's where I'm connecting my braid to my fluoro. The fluoro I have on this is way too strong back in here. I usually use it inshore. You can get away with 8 to 10 here easy. I think I have like 20 on. But it is helpful when you're trying to get away from those underwater logs that are submerged and you have a fish going towards it. Wasn't strong enough though to keep me out of that tree. So, that's a bummer. I'm gonna try this one. Top Knot Pencil by Uzuri. It's a floating one. I'm gonna try to walk it across the top. Maybe twitch it a little bit, it'll go down and then it'll float right back up. Being that I was just using a swim bait and that's under the surface of the water and I was pretty successful with getting those hits, I think something like this might work too. It's that happy medium between solid top water and that twitch bait. That is the one problem with top water here. There is a lot of debris in the water, so it's very easy to snag that debris on the top. I come back in here when, when it's just blowing offshore and there's really no other place to fish. It's just completely protected by, the land to keep you out of that wind. And, when you finally get off from work and you're like, okay, I got a weekend, I can finally go fishing. And then it's blowing 20 knots, seas are 10 feet offshore. It's just, there's no way you can get offshore. And even inshore, it's rough too. So kind of like how we found ourselves this week trying to go on adventures, and it's just blowing. So this is, you come back here, find your little piece of serenity, catch some fish, have a good time, and just see the Florida wilderness and just the beauty of it. And you catch a lot of fish. We're gonna move down to my next spot. I really want to try to get that freshwater snook. I think the next spot might hold some. I'm gonna try it on top water. And it's starting to get late, so we'll probably start to head back soon before the bugs get really, really bad. I'm gonna call it a day, start my trek back home, and I'll try my luck another day.